Speaking of Battlefield 1, Rob, you just watched a story trailer. I watched a story trailer. Pete watched a story trailer. I think we have differing opinions.
Oh, really?
From my,
I don't know.
Pete sits near me, and I heard his reaction. Oh, of course, like it was curmudgeon, like, oh, a sick story trailer. What'd you think of it?
I was into it.
You liked it?
I was into it because, geez, where to start? I don't know. I was into it because we've seen the gameplay for the most part. I think we all know what this game's going to look pretty good.
Yeah.
Just based on the beta alone, I feel like. And I was interested where they were going to take this depressing ass war.
Yeah.
And how they're going to present it. And it wasn't like a huge explanation of the plot or anything, but you saw a lot of these conflicting moments with like, do I shoot? Do I not kill you? Do I do, and I think that's the battle of, people's opinions of the war in general. Like, why were we fighting?
Right.
And that seems to be apparent in this.
It's also like DICE's challenge. Like, how do you depict one of the bloodiest conflicts ever?
Yeah. But there's the other side of the coin where, yes, there is that thing where people are like, oh man, this war, what are we doing? But on the other hand, there's a guy like, we will go into battle, and if 1 out of every 1,000 of us is remembered, imagine the war stories that will be told for ages to come.
I have conflicting emotions.
Cool.
I have very conflicting emotions because the first half seems like they're going for a more personal level and maybe how it's going to affect them. And then there's a part in the middle where the music dies down and it starts getting grim. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Like, it's these people coming into war. Like, everybody's romanticizing it. They're like, we're going to like storm no man's land. We're going to get across. And then I thought it was going to cut back to like the grisly aspects of it, the shit that like you don't want to see, that I was hoping DICE would put in. But then it just cut right back to that, like that speech you were just saying. But it's like, if we fight, like if we push, we can win, or something like a locker room speech before a World War I battle.
Yeah, like the game looks great. It looks better in this trailer than it does in motion, and that's saying a lot because in motion it looks fantastic. But in terms of the story I'm getting from it, I just don't feel like I'm getting. There's enough for me to really feel confident about it. Because these are such small snippets that they're providing us.
Sure. I do like that this trailer, like, I don't know if they're actually going to follow through, but the trailer kind of hints at a character-driven campaign, which, like, in the past, Battlefields have pretty much just been like that macho military shooter jargon stuff. Yeah.
One dude versus all.
So this one is what? You said there's 5 characters.
There is 5 perspectives of the war, and I was actually hoping for a perspective from the Central Powers side. Mm-hmm. May it be German or
Ottoman Empire.
Sure. But this apparently is all allied. So having like broken some of the sound, the Battlefield put this on their site, so I kind of skimmed through it. So like the 2 British pilots, that's your one perspective. That's more or less a chapter of this single player campaign. You have your tank crew, which, having read it, it seems to be almost the exact same idea of the movie Fury.
I was going to say,
and from the beginning, from the first trailer from E3, I had a vibe of that, being stranded in a tank with your treads out.
With Shia LaBeouf.
Straight up. It's very much that, in that they talk about in a very brief moment, they said like the character that you are playing or seeing is a newbie who is being introduced to this rugged, unprofessional tank crew, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to basically, build a team. Yeah. You have different, you have the bromance in the planes. Basically, these 2 guys like, will you take me back home? Like, I'll do my best.
I will hold you.
Yeah. I think that's great, though.
There's a shirtless volleyball scene.
Yeah, very much so. And then it goes as far to Italian perspective in the Alps.
Mm-hmm. Farewell to Arms-ish kind of place.
It seemed to be the moments of when the guy's putting on that heavy armor. It's like they're calling it like a mountaineer regiment called Arditi, I guess, is like the Italian force that's like almost like comparison to shock troopers from like World War II.
Maybe that's where like flamethrowers come into play or something.
I think so. That's where you'll see a lot of that action. And then the last being, and then probably one of the most depressing moments in the war is Gallipoli. Yeah. And so you participate in that as the Australian runners. So you are running info from probably trenches to trench.
Yeah.
A lot of chaos. And you get snips of those, I believe. Kind of look like landing crafts, storming that Ottoman Empire.
That was the entire focus of the movie Gallipoli with like Mel Gibson. It was on like carriers and like how like just to get from trench to trench and whatnot. And it was like the failed attempt for the Australians to kind of end the war early, at least on the Ottoman front. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. Wasn't there a Bedouin woman they kept showing and mentioning?
Yes, that's the other one. And I didn't know this. That is very much, they're saying that she is like Lawrence of Arabia's right-hand woman. Or man, whatever you want to call that phrase. But yeah, she's there like the whole step away. And they're basically against the Ottoman Empire. You see a lot of these, that's where the train behemoths come in with the heavy artillery. I guess you're trying to make a push on that.
And obviously that's in like the desert setting.
Yeah, horseback and stuff like that.
It seems like not just like in terms of the characters, but in terms of their archetypes, it's kind of dividing the character classes up by campaigns. You said there's the guy in the Italian Alps who's kind of more of the assault. It sounds like the Gallipoli messengers are more of the scout classes almost. It sounds like they're
a lot of more stealth, probably like behind enemy lines. Moments.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then there's the Harlem Hellfighter. Did you already mention that?
I don't know much about that, but what I do know is that's 5 chapters more or less with missions being in those, and then there's a unnamed kind of epilogue which has only a handful of missions. So I wonder if that's gonna tie in any or any other loose threads to the story of the campaign. And then they showed the last shot of the trailer of the Harlan Hellfighter against like a German soldier kind of standoff.
Yeah, both hesitating to pull the trigger and whatnot. Like a lot of people I think said when they heard they're making this game, they're like, would that be awesome if the server shut down on Christmas for the Christmas truce? It wouldn't happen, but that'd be really cool. But the Harlem Hellfighter, I remember when they first announced like the collector's edition, they said something about the Harlem Hellfighters was part of DLC.
Yeah,
sure.
Well,
they wouldn't put an epilogue in DLC, would they?
No, but they could put the epilogue to tease something for DLC.
Well,
right.
There's been leaks, or I think someone like cracked open like the beta itself and found that there was like a patch that said like French patch, I don't even know if DICE or anyone has even said that there will be like a French DLC down the road.
Huh. I mean, I know they said they're trying to go to like unexplored territory for World War One in terms of like in like media and entertainment, but I feel like they've got San Quentin Scar, the multiplayer map, which is already in France. Like France is like where some of the bloodiest battles took place. I have a hard time
as like a team to play as.
Oh, gotcha. So like an actual like side. Okay,
right.
That'd be cool if it was like the attack on Paris when they had to start using taxi cabs to get people up to the front because of the Schlieffen plan. Germans fucked it up. They were supposed to wrap around Paris, come from behind. They could have won the war like right then, but then this dude got really bold and came down right at Paris. It's one of the points where we could have completely lost.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just touching back, like that bummed me out a little bit. As a huge fan of like 1942, playing as both sides, if that's only present in multiplayer, that's kind of a bummer to me because I would like to see that other perspective. Yeah. Especially, World War I, there is a different perspective there, more so than World War II, which is always, as we said, like
higher levels
romanticized as like good versus evil.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it more or less, the trailer was very, I mean, I got bits of it and it felt pretty cool. It looked pretty cool. There were these moments of, heavy fog in the forests, like that almost remind me of like what was the Call of Duty Modern Warfare sniper mission?
All gillied up.
Yeah, all gillied up. Just like, I don't know. I just feel like there's gonna be these moments of that, and that made me excited.
Yeah, with the Gallipoli scouts. He looked like a grizzled old dude from what they showed. The one I was thinking of, like with a rifle and the cape. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping there are some measure moments in the campaign, not just all out like charging trenches like you're doing multiplayer, or not just trenches multiplayer, but just charging like control points and whatnot. I'm interested how they're gonna kind of transplant the Battlefield formula into a campaign because in my opinion, they've kind of failed recently.
They mentioned,
games.
and how linear they are, more or less.
And they've been saying they're going to do like more sandbox areas and make it a more Battlefield campaign. At least that's what their marketing is saying. But I hope they do try to translate that like this Battlefield you're playing on into the campaign rather than just this long line of like follow this character and do this.
Yeah, they mentioned a few scenarios in like their release today, their press release, where one was like, you come across a German tank, you can either destroy it or you can hotwire it, and use it against X, or vice versa, like storming an artillery encampment, you can turn the guns the other way. So that was like, okay, cool, that's exciting. But yeah, because I mean, I remember one of the most frustrating parts of Battlefield 4, or is it 3? I keep forgetting. Was when it's aircraft carrier scene, and you and your buddy are pilots, and you're going up to your like F-18, and you get in the back, and you don't even fly.
Yeah,
you just point missiles in certain directions.
It's point and clicking.
I think I literally stopped playing the campaign after that because that made me so upset.
Well, that's why, like I said, like, just to double down on what I'm saying, I hope that they find some way to make it like a sandbox where you don't have to be in a plane in this set piece moment, because that's very like a Call of Duty thing when I think of. I hope they're not just going to say you're in a plane for the entirety of this mission, shooting down like enemy planes in dogfights. I hope they say here's your objective, go capture that with these people, and then there'll be a story thing to like kind of contextualize this. If you want to get in a plane, go do it. They are pilots, so I'm assuming like there's probably going to be a behind enemy lines moment or something when they're like down behind enemy lines.
I think you see some of that. I think it was the clip where the guy was about to hit him with like a looked like a what do you call it? Like a those paddles.
Shovel?
No, it looked like a wooden
cricket,
paddle,
like a cricket bat. I saw that. Yeah, what was
like, don't
that?
kill me or something like that. It looked like one of the guys from the plane.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I agree with you, but I think there's gonna be moments of that.
Yeah, it's not like the campaign's not like make or break for Battlefield. That's not why I play Battlefields, but because it's World War I and it's like very unexplored in games and like in literature it's explored, but even in movies it's kind of like not always there. It's not like a good versus evil thing like World War II. It's not like a more recent like Hurt Locker where it's something a lot of people live still relate to. We're like past, I think the last person that was fought in World War I died recently, semi-recently in the grand scheme of things. So it's a war that's very much past, but it still was a very bloody conflict. Like rules exist today in war because of how bad this was.
Right.
And the world exists today because of the effects of like new borders and everything. So I'm interested if they're going to maybe not take advantage is a terrible term, but like maybe if they can like utilize that in a meaningful way in the campaign.
It's tough, man.
It's wishful thinking, I would say, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. The trailer is kind of encouraging, but at the same time, kind of not encouraging.
Don't let me bring you down. I think it looks good. I just want to measure our excitement.
It looks like it'll be exciting.
It's a good trailer, right? Like that's what it is.
It's exciting. I'm one of many people who are playing this just for the multiplayer. But to have a campaign that is, enjoyable. I'm not expecting like a history lesson. I think we all kind of knew that coming into this game, like from day one.
Sure. They said like in an interview, Alex Ground, the producer, said we're not trying to make a documentary. Yeah. And I hate saying that word because everybody makes fun of me for it. But yeah, they're not trying to make a documentary. They're not trying to. It's historical fiction for all intents and purposes. They're going to use the setting and whatnot to tell their own story, and we'll see how that story goes.
I'm pretty sure though. The history books did have a horse with a flamethrower guy and a minigun guy on top of it. I'm pretty sure I saw one of those going into battle. Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, someone said like the joke was like, it's kind of a politically charged joke, but it showed like the GIF, and then someone had said, but putting women into this game was too unrealistic, because that was their quote from like a year ago when they first released it. Cool. So that's Battlefield 1. It releases on PS4, Xbox One, PC on October 21st. So what do you think of the new trailer? Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the upcoming campaign. Let us know in the comments below.